guys, I'm back with another Destiny video. I was originally going to do a Destiny 2 versus Godfall sort of comparison thing, mostly based on how much I do not like Godfall, but I might have to save that for another day because Bungie just dropped a pretty substantive TWAB, and it had a lot of stuff that I was not expecting to see, including some very fast stasis changes after just the first week here, and some changes to the loot pool. So I'm going to try and cover both of those in one video here. The stasis stuff, it's a lot of Warlock nerfs and a lot of PvP specific stuff on top of that. First, they fixed the bug where I never really even understood what this was, but like 5 Warlocks and a Hunter doing something could instantly blow up a boss. I don't know, it was Glad's thing, he did it, and it was going to ruin the raid race, so they hotfixed that pretty quick. Generally speaking, though, Warlocks got hit with a lot of stasis nerfs, including shorter time for the super, your melee now is slower, and it had its range almost cut in half, which I found out the hard way as I was trying to use that after the hotfix today, which is not amazing. The only slight buff it got was it now costs less energy to shoot out your bolt during your super, but it's shorter, so I don't know if that really matters that much. And then overall stasis damage is reduced for breaking out, and resilience now matters more while you're breaking out. So if you have high resilience, you'll probably barely feel it when you break out. Speaking of breaking out, the major changes to stasis are for PvP. So what that's going to be is pretty much anything that isn't a super that freezes you, including that one grenade that like instantly freezes you, and the ice flare bolts from the Warlock, and Pumble Blast, that's the Warlock melee. That freeze too. All of those are down from 4 seconds to 1 second. So if you're frozen by like a minor thing, it will not. I mean, 1 second in PvP still might be an insta kill, but you won't be like literally a sitting duck as long as you would be in PvE. I do think that this does not affect supers. So like if you're caught in a stasis super, it's still going to kill you. If you, I think, get frozen by a dusk field grenade, that's still going to kill you. Same for Salvation's Grip, things like that. So it's only for kind of very specific things, and most of them are geared toward Warlock. I also think Warlock's melee can no longer just instantly freeze you. I think you have to be like slowed or something first for that to happen. I need to read that more carefully. Also, you can't just spam the Warlock blast part of your super to just randomly damage a ton of enemies through walls. And that had its range reduced, so Warlock's got kind of hammered here, and there are no changes to any of the other classes, but admittedly they were sort of OP with the current stasis thing. What I'm the most excited about, since I'm not a huge PvP person, and I don't care about how this is going to affect trials or anything, is what they're doing to the loot pool. I wrote this morning about how fundamentally Destiny should not have loot that is earnable that is sunset, and non-sunset loot should always be earnable. So, in that vein, they're kind of making adjustments based on that, like, general sentiment from the community, and they're not going all the way there. Like, they're not doing things like bringing up all Forsaken and Shadowkeep legendary loot and stuff like that. This is just focused right now on the world pool, so that's anything that drops from, like, randomly killing enemies, like rewards you get from vendors, things like that. It's like I don't know how many weapons are in it, but I think it's like around 30 weapons or something that are in the pool. So the changes to this are, I'm just going to read them really quick here. Remove all legendary weapons that hit their infusion cap at the end of the season. I don't know which one that is specifically. Like I forget which season is I think it's Season of Dawn weapons are the ones that end next season, or whatever that era is. So if they have that symbol, you'd have to kind of manually check which ones these are. I'll probably try and make a list later. So that's going to take some stuff out, so it won't be like in 2 months or 3 months you're getting a drop, and then like a month later or a week later it's going to be sunset, so it's pointless. So I think that's a good idea. They are adding in all of the 7th Seraph weapons from Season 10. That is hugely important because one of the core things I talked about in my article today was you can't earn any of those, and like Warmind cells are still really good and really popular, and all those mods are still the mods did not get sunset. So it's still very useful. You might see Warmind cells in the raid as a raid strat. Like they're great in PvE, but you can't earn literally any of the Warmind cell making weapons, which is crazy. So, and you couldn't even earn the one machine gun that was not sunset ahead of the 2 they introduced this season, which is the 7th Seraph Saw. But now that's changing, so all the 7th Seraph weapons are coming. Those are some of my favorite weapons they've ever made, so I'm very happy about that. I already have kind of my god rolls and stuff, so I'm not, like, I don't need to hunt them, but I think it's a good idea for players that kind of missed that season, because Season of the Worthy was terrible, and I know a lot of people just dropped Destiny for that period of time. So those are coming back. They are also adding in all of the Season 11 seasonal and planetary reprisal weapons. That, I believe, is all the like kind of darkness weapons that we were getting from Umbral Engrams. So the giant slab bow, fusion, the auto, like there's the pulse. There's a lot of those, and planetary reprisal weapons. So that's like I think that's like first in, last out, and that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. But there were a few of those that now had random rolls. I think there's a sniper. I think there's a grenade launcher that was bad. I don't know. I think the Aikidos weapons are in there too, and those can also make Warmind cells. So yeah, those were Season 11 too. They reintroduced the sniper, the SMG, and the shotgun. So I'm assuming those are coming back too, which is good news because that's even more Warmind cell weapons. And then finally, they will be waiting drop changes. So the newer an item is, the more likely it is to drop. So last season's weapons will be most likely, then worthy. Still not dropping Season of Dawn weapons. I guess that's part of the philosophy of if something's about to get sunset next season, then it's going to not be able to drop. That's a shame because Season of Dawn had really good weapons, and they better reissue Breachlight at some point. That's all I'm going to say, because that is my favorite weapon in the game, and I will be very sad if they don't. Overall, these are really good steps forward. They do not necessarily solve all the problems of like people paying for Forsaken and Shadowkeep and getting a bunch of loot that is not useful because it's capped at 1060, like all of the moon weapons, like pretty much anything in Tangled Shore or Dreaming City that drops as part of those missions and things like that. It's kind of strange, and I think that's still a bad idea to have 1060 loot dropping in those activities, especially that they're paid activities. They don't want to get into their long-term loot strategy yet, but you're showing they're willing to make adjustments, and all of this stuff is coming very quickly. It's a week after launch. People are complaining that sunsetting went too far. They're adding 2 seasons worth of guns into the loot pool, like in terms of new things to earn and things that went away. So they're making changes. The PvP changes are very fast. I saw DMG said not to like assume that future patches are going to happen this fast, and like this won't always be the case, but I don't know. They did this one very fast, and that's very impressive. I know they wanted to get some stuff done before the raid, especially that Warlock bug. The raid race is on Saturday, and as I said in my last video, I won't be doing it, but I will be watching a bunch of teams, and I think there's going to be stuff unlocked after the raid race is over, so even if you're not running it yourself on day one, I would definitely be ready to log into the game sometime that night. I assume it's not going to take that long to beat with contest modifier, plus all the different leaks and stuff. World's First is going to be kind of a nightmare with all the bugs and advanced information and stuff, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think some more stuff might happen immediately after the raid. If not, more stuff may happen at reset on Tuesday in terms of like progressing the story and the rest of the Beyond Light stuff that we still haven't unlocked yet. So we'll see what happens. I know they're going to be staggering stuff over the course of the season. But yeah, big TWAB, big changes very quickly. So I'm very impressed with that. And hopefully this satisfies some of the angrier people. I do think they're doing the best they can, and I think they've shown that they're pretty adaptable, so that's good to see as ever. And they're doing it very quickly this time instead of waiting like, let's see how the season goes, and 3 to 6 months we'll revisit this. And like, no, they're doing stuff very fast. So hopefully that maintains, and I'm looking forward to the raid on Saturday. All right, I will see you guys later. Subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.